She tightened the strap beneath her chin and stepped into the blood-slick circle. The crowd hissed like rain on iron. If she hesitated, Jace would die. If she swung true, she would lose him anyway. The hood dropped over Mara's eyes. Breath, leather, heat, then a voice at her ear, low and tired. "I hate this job." Her fingers twitched on the haft of the axe. She almost ripped the hood off, almost. Jace knelt at the block, wrists bound, hair matted to his cheek. He raised his head, found her in the shadow slit, and shook it once. Don't. He still thought she'd just watch. He didn't know who wore the hood. Mara, the voice sighed. So it knew her name. If you mean to save him, you chose the wrong tool. I chose the only one, she whispered back. The crowd would not hear. The drums pounded. High Warden Sorrel lifted his baton. By decree, he called, for the fire at East Gate. He didn't light it, Mara said. Her throat burned. I did. That was the deal she'd made in the night. Trade faces with the executioner. Whether who'd take the swing herself, fail on purpose, then run. The city had rules. The blade could stall once. A second stall meant the hood turned on the wearer. She'd heard that old story as a child. She never believed it until now, with leather whispering in her ear. Truth tastes different, the hood muttered. Yours is warm. His is cold. What does that mean? It means the list is wrong. The baton fell. The drums went silent. The block waited. The sword of the city lay across the grooved stump, edge honed by the dawn. Mara lifted the axe. It felt heavy and familiar, as if she'd swung it for years. Her shoulders knew the motion. Her stomach didn't. Make it clean, Jace said, too soft for anyone but her to hear. He knew. He knew she wore the hood, Mara's first swing-cut heir. The axe stopped inches from his neck like it had hit a wall. The crowd groaned. Someone threw a pebble. It bounced off her boot. Sorrel frowned. Executioner, he called. Do not play with law. It's not me, Mara hissed, and the hood chuckled without joy. Rule 1, it said. The blade won't drink an innocent. Rule 2, if the blade stalls, you name the guilty. The leather tugged against her skin like a hand guiding her gaze. Rule 3, it breathed. If you lie, you feed me instead. Mara stared at Jace. Tell me, she whispered. Did you do it? His mouth trembled. He closed his eyes. Yes, the word iced her spine. She had begged, lied, bribed to save him. He had told her he was framed. He had cried into her hands. He had kissed her knuckles and sworn. Yes, Jace said again, louder, like he was sorry and proud at once. I did it. I burned the gate. I opened the city so they could get in. The crowd jolted, a wave of badas. Sorrel's face went pale. Silence, he roared, but his voice cracked. Why? Mara asked, throat raw. Jac looked up at her like a boy who'd brought a storm home. Because you were never safe here. Because they were coming for you? I picked the faster fire. The hood hummed. Cold truth, it said. Sharp. Mara's heart slammed. She had always felt watched. Eyes in alleys. Names on papers that vanished when she looked. Her mother had told her of the old prophecy, the kind everyone laughed at. A child born under the ash comet, marked with smoke, would unravel the city's knot. Mara had a crescent burn on her shoulder she kept hidden since she was 5. She had never told Jace. Name the guilty, the hood pressed. Not him. Not you. Sorrel stepped to the lip of the platform, silk bright, smile thin. Finish it, he said, and reached inside his sleeve. His ring flashed. The baton tapped twice. On the walls, crossbows rose. Mara didn't look at the bolts. The hood wouldn't let her. It tugged toward the judge's bench, toward the line of black-robed clerks, their faces like stone. It tugged past them to the bell tower, where a thin woman in gray watched with lidless attention. Mara had seen her once before, in a doorway after midnight, counting coins with the warden. Who is she? Mara whispered. Ledger keeper, the hood said. She balances the deaths. She buys the fires. She ordered the gate. Mara's fingers tightened. And rule 4? she asked. There is no rule 4, the Hood said. Only the price. She could end Jace, it would be clean. It would be quick. It would also keep the ledger whole. The city would roll forward smooth as a wheel over bones. Or she could speak and tilt it off. Name the guilty, the Hood urged, softer now, almost kind. Or feed me. Jace held her with his eyes. There was fear there and a strange relief. It's fine, he mouthed. Coward, part of her said. No, another part answered. He carried a match to shield you. Wrong shield. Wrong match. Mara lifted the axe again. The crowd leaned in, a single breath. She let the head hang over Jace's neck. She felt the Hood's hunger scratch at her skin. It wasn't food hunger. It was justice hunger. She had never believed in such a thing until it touched her, ledger keeper. Mara shouted, voice ringing between the towers. I name. A bolt cracked past her ear and buried in the block. Wood splintered. Jace flinched. Guards flooded the platform. Sorrel's smile vanished. Seize the executioner, he spat. Remove the Hood. The Hood laughed, sharp as a blade. Try, hands grabbed for Mara. She spun. The axe moved like it had always been hers. She knocked a spear aside, swept a foot, sent a guard tumbling into the crowd. The Hood flashed pictures into her head-old swings, last breath, names shouted at dawn. She staggered at the weight of it. Left, the Hood whispered, and she ducked a blade. Step, and she planted on the wet plank just before it slid. Speak, and she found her voice again. The ledger keeper buys fire, she cried. She owns your dead. Heads turned. The woman in gray didn't blink. She lifted her hand. Bells began to toll, slow and even, drowning the drums. The ground trembled under Mara's boots. Earthworks, the Hood said. They're waking the tunnels? They mean to swallow this square. Jace twisted to face her, chains clanking. Mara, he called over the bells. Trust me. Cut the rope at my wrists. Then put the Hood on Sorrel. What happens if I do? She asked. You see the real ledger, the Hood murmured. You see who pays? Another bolt whistled. It struck Jace's shoulder. He choked and bit down on his cry. The crowd screamed. The bell tolled harder. A crack split the cobbles. Mara raised the axe one last time. She didn't aim at Jace, she brought it down on the rope. The fibers snapped. His hands flew free. Sorrel shouted something she couldn't hear. The Hood went hot. The world narrowed to a tunnel of leather dark and ringing. Now, the Hood breathed. Choose. Mara ripped the Hood off and lunged toward the High Warden. Sorrel's eyes widened as she shoved the Hood into his chest. The leather leaped like a living thing and sealed over his skull. He gasped once. Then the Hood's voice spoke through him. Cold and clear. Name the guilty, it told his court. Sorrel's finger rose. Trembling and pointed past the guards, past the judges, up, to the gray woman who had never once blinked. The ground gave way beneath the platform. Mara grabbed Jace's arm as wood shattered and the square dropped into black. Hold on, she said. And the Hood on Sorrel's head now whispered from above as the bells swallowed them. Debt is due. Want the next part? Tap follow so you don't miss the fall.